Wow, I was going to say, do you want to get it out and measure it? Because mine's bigger. Hi everyone, this is Lockdown Alex. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I'm joined by Jailbreakers Matt.
Woo!
And Cameron.
Let me over the border!
Here at Real Gamerscore, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and what is cloud gaming. This week we talk about Phil Spencer's No Regrets, the forwarding of Ubisoft, and getting out your Windows Phone and Gear VR. But first, here's the song of the week.
I know a thing or two about grinds. I know they'll only make you cry. They'll let you get some easy chivos. But when you're done, they'll patch more in. Everybody says it's easy to do, but the ratio is 7.2. Suffer! Alright, that'll do. I'll get Chen to put some music in there.
That broke up really heavily for me. Did it break up for you, Cam?
Yeah. I have no idea what he was singing.
It's all good. The recording will be fine.
All I know is he was putting a lot of heart and soul into it, so I'm guessing it was soul music. And somebody's going to roast me completely when this episode comes out.
We'll actually listen to it, yeah.
Nothing like that.
Oh, don't worry, I'll let you listen to it beforehand so you'll know what they'll roast you about.
Okay, cool.
But that should be a relatively easy one. It's not their most popular song, but it's up there.
It was hard to hear it through like a quarter of a second every 3 seconds. I couldn't.
Me and Alex are just looking at each other, just going, "What? What did we just?"
It's fine. It's fine. I'll re-sing it for you guys afterwards. You'll get it. Don't worry about it.
All right, cool.
Okay. All right. So if you know what that song was, you can send your guess of title and artist to the Real Gamerscore account on True Achievements. So it's Real Gamerscore. It's all one word, and there's a 5 instead of the S in score. Kirby's been kind enough to draw the winner of the June Song of the Week competition. It's Ben L72. So, Ben, just get in touch with Kirby either in Discord or on True Achievements, and he will sort you out for a code. I think it's some currency, yeah?
Yeah, it's probably some cash. Also, Kirby will now edit in the songs that were in the competition for the last month, so you get to listen to my beautiful singing. Along with what it should actually sound like.
Yes! I love these episodes.
Everybody's watching you go screaming. Everybody wants a new jump scare. Everybody's going off in the chat. Everybody's waiting for you to swear. Oh, you want to scare in my heart. Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance. Everybody's going off the deep end. Everybody needs a second chance. Oh.
We got these rules to follow. Don't edit your profile. TA knows. I could use a cheat code. Find a save to download. We get some rules to follow. That and this, these and those. No one knows.
I can't stop achieving in every game I see. They just don't realize what they do to me. When you play me till the end of the night and let me know that your ratio's high, I'm hooked on achieving.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright.
I remembered old games, finished them all the same. Up my completion score, take a whole year or more. I just spent 6 weeks boosting Gears of War, seriously for the score.
Alright, well, after all those beautiful renditions, thank you, Kirby, for editing those in. If you would like to join us in Discord, you can do so at any time. There's always active invite. If you type into your internet browser discord.io/realgamerscore, you can find us, 3 of us, plus many, many more people talking about this, that, and the other thing. If you want to find someone to just boost whatever, we have a channel for that as well. It probably serves as a good reminder. In our boosting-LFG channel, there is a pinned message which has a Google sheet in it. You can add a sheet for yourself, write in there all the games that you're looking to boost, and if anyone else is looking for those games, they can look at that sheet and see what's going on there as well. I actually probably need to update mine because I've finished a few games since I put it up there, but yeah, you can find that there, the pin message in the boosting-LFG channel. Alright, so Patreon. We have a Patreon, in case you didn't know. If you didn't know, have you not listened to the intro in the last 99 episodes, 98 episodes? Anyway, you can find that page at patreon.com/realgamerscore. We have a few tiers over there. Sling us some money, keep the lights on, keep us getting you guys some prizes. And speaking of the prizes, we have had Kirby kindly draw us a winner for this one as well. I'm going to stop saying Kirby kindly drew it because that was just the first one, but he also kindly drew this one. I'm just not going to say that.
He did draw it, but he did it begrudgingly.
I was going to say aggressively, but yeah.
Well, you can do both. Aggressively and begrudgingly. I don't know. That's an interesting mix. That sounds like the Flood on Halo 3. The winner for this week is Ghostly Shinobi. If I'm not mistaken, you win an ID at Xbox game of your choice. You can pick any of them.
But always the most expensive one.
Yeah, I'm going to say, isn't the Black Desert, like Super Duper Mix, the most expensive one? We looked it up one time. It was more expensive
Driving
than
Essentials.
Driving
I mean, you know, whatever quality title you want.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Or, you know, get whatever you like. It's all good. Okay, we've got, we're in the middle of July, of course. It is a new month. Well, not a new month. It's the middle of July. I'm just talking in circles here. The Random To-Do List contest. We have running every month. You get a list of 25 achievements for your random to-do list. It's governed by your game collection on True Achievements. You need to earn 1 achievement to enter the competition and answer a trivia question, which I have forgotten.
So the trivia question for this month is Kirby couldn't come up with one, so you just have to send him a message that says, "I love money."
Oh, that's what that is. I thought that was the answer of the winner that won last month. Okay,
But
no.
No. He just wants you to say, "I love money." It has to be grammatically correct. If you get anything wrong, you disqualify.
Yeah,
That's exactly it.
If you only like money, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely not.
If you really love money, alright, well, don't be too greedy. Just, just love money.
Yeah, and no emojis, no, nothing. Just I love money.
Equals D, nothing like that.
None of that. Yeah, exactly not.
You got to send it to the right account. If he checks the right account and still thinks it's incorrect, you'll be disqualified as well.
Yeah, I mean,
we haven't had that happen tonight. Definitely not.
No, not at all. No. Well, I mean, we almost did, but we didn't.
That's exactly it.
All right. For the last month on the random to-do list giveaway, Reset 42 is the winner, and they win a code for Demons Tier Plus, which is from Cowcat Games, I think.
Yep.
Guys that made Demetrios and Riddled Corpses EX. Two pretty good games, actually.
Mm-hmm. Which that was the question. What was another game that Cowcat made?
Oh, just gave away the answer for June, so there you go.
All you time travelers out there.
Yes. All right. Well, we've got kind of light on Newsweek, which is funny because there was an Ubisoft forward, but not really.
Yeah,
much
but I think the thing was, they were a little light on news to give us.
Yes. Let me give you the recap in 1 minute. Well, less than 1 minute of Ubisoft forward. Far Cry 6, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a third game that I'm not really interested in.
Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah, Watch Dogs. That's right. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, now on to the second news article. What? Did you want to talk about that?
I was going to say, you're not excited about Watch Dogs, everybody being able to play as grandmas?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I mean, look, Watch Dogs Legion looks interesting, but it was a lot more interesting when they talked about it, back in March before the end of the world happened, and their end of world scenario that they were putting you in was, it's a post-Brexit world. Do you guys remember Brexit? That happened.
Have they actually exited yet?
Oh yeah, they totally did. Like last year.
Really? Oh, I thought it just kept getting delayed because the Parliament wasn't happy with how it was.
And there was so many talks about it's going to tank the British economy, just all this strife and that, and then it doesn't matter anymore because the whole world.
Because everything else went. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole world imploded.
So they timed it to perfection. It's not
exactly.
Brexit that tanked it. It was the Corona.
It's a rip straight from the headlines.
Look, if they could have Brexited Corona, then they would have been fine. But I think we're.
I mean, luckily they have two. They just need to come up with a sequel for the Division, really, Division 3, and I think they'll be set. To be honest, Ubisoft have all of their bases covered. Whether it's some sort of weird flu that's killing everyone, whether it's people in Montana. Whether it's whether it's time traveling assassins, they are ready for they're ready for whatever 2020 is going to throw at us.
Just not a Splinter Cell game.
Just not exactly. It's the one thing they cannot do tactical espionage action. They just can't
They're
deal.
holding it back for the next Ubisoft forward. That's what they're doing. They're just very tactical.
They're just waiting for the China TikTok news to blow over, and then they'll start development.
Oh boy. Yes, I saw actually someone talking about that on Twitter. They're I'm so angry I don't want to go on TikTok, but I really want to get a TikTok because China will sell my information and give it to the government. It's you go on Facebook and that happens anyway.
It's just...
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Alright. Anyway, we didn't plan to talk about the Ubisoft forward, but Cameron, you just shoehorned it in there.
I mean, to be fair, we did talk about it longer than the actual event was.
Well,
so.
yes, that's true.
I had more interest in the Devolver Digital stuff.
Okay. Devolver's pretty good. I love that woman that runs that company. She's a legend. She's a superstar. Alright, well, the first real news article we've got, I'll just read the title out. It's the first part's good, the second part's not good. Phil Spencer feels really good about Xbox strategy, doesn't have regrets about Mixer. To get the 2020 lingo, let's unpack that a little bit. Let's drill down into that statement a bit more, shall we? It's good. I think I share the first part. I feel really good about Xbox's strategy. As people would know listening to this show, I spend too much time on Twitter. And there are a lot of Sony ponies on there acting like absolute balance. And if we're going to balance that out, I am sure that there are Xbots that are acting the same way. I just don't see it as often. But I do feel like with the acquisition of all the studios in the past 2 to 3 years, that Xbox is really well placed for the next generation. So there's really no surprise to hear that.
Leading into that too, I think they're not slowing down with studio acquisitions. I think Matt Booty did talks with, I'm trying to think, it was Kotaku or somebody else recently this week, and said they're still open to acquiring more studios.
Well, they did say they were going to do... Their vision was 20 by 2020, I think it was. And I think they got 15 or 16, if I remember correctly. So, there are a lot out there. Well, not anymore, but they could have just bought Naughty Dog just to troll.
Yeah, well, no, Sony was like, no, not letting that happen. Snap them up. Right. They're like them and Insomniac, the dream teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that acquisition of Insomniac makes me pretty sad, because that means the already not happening Sunset Overdrive is really not happening. Unless it goes multi-platform.
I was going to say, yeah, if it's a multiplayer or they get someone else to develop it. I mean, who owns the IP?
I think
it was
they
Xbox
do,
exclusive,
actually.
so it's either Xbox or
Microsoft.
Insomniac.
I think... Well, it's going to be one or the other, Alex.
Mate, that's right. I'm sitting on that fence, alright?
I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure that Insomniac own the rights to the IP.
They
decided to keep it.
Yeah. Alright, now let's hop into the second part. It doesn't have regrets about Mixer. So...
I mean, look, to be fair, I don't have regrets about Mixer either. I think that's an understandable thing, right? Like, Mixer was basically... Like, I mean, what would he regret about Mixer, I guess is the question. Right?
Well, that's the thing. It's a really broad statement. When I read this, I think it's in relation to Mixer closing. And the thing that... If I was in his position, and I mean, let's be honest, it's never going to happen. But if I was, I would feel some sort of negative emotion that you close down a service that people had spent thousands, tens of thousands, potentially hours invested in, whether it's building their brand, up to a partner-like status, or, there's someone that watches a lot of the channels, and they're just, they're so invested in it. And, I mean, I don't trust Facebook really as a company. I have a Facebook account, so I guess I'm a massive hypocrite. But if I was in their position, I'd probably be going to Twitch as well. But Twitch is, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times more saturated?
Yeah.
So
you're probably better off going to YouTube at this point.
Yeah, going to YouTube. But, I mean, YouTube have a penchant for shutting down things that they just feel like it, so... Yeah,
well, Google are especially bad with that, but and also YouTube's having the big problem with demonetization at the moment with their advertisers.
Yeah. So I think about that part of it, but also maybe the regrets... I would have regrets that they came out of the blocks with the FTL Fast and Light stuff, which was really good. That was Twitch's main thing. You'd say something and the person wouldn't see it for like 45 seconds. And that was really good. And then, I mean, Twitch took that ball and they ran with it too, and they just didn't really innovate. And, I would, if I was in Phil's spot, I'd be regretting that we didn't do more with the service to make it better.
I guess the question from me would be, as someone who has no interest in streaming whatsoever, like personally, what could they have done? Like, what was it? What's the special sauce? What are they missing? What is it that Twitch has? Like, is it just that Twitch has better branding? Is it? I mean, because I don't know. It just like, again, I know that they do the whole thing where, and this is Epic do this with Fortnite, where it's like as soon as a competitor has a good idea, you basically just copy it and cannibalize it straight into your own thing.
Yeah.
And just leave them without a competitive advantage. My worry is that. Like, cause it started off as being was acquired by Microsoft, so it wasn't built by Microsoft.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they hate that they hate that they acquired something that they've now had to shut down. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I never saw Mixer being a big thing. I pretty much saw that this was going to happen. I'm surprised it lasted this long, to be honest. That we got through almost an entire console generation with this thing crammed into the system.
Yeah, I wasn't super hyped about it always being a tab of its own. Well, not always, but for a lot of the generation being a tab of its own, because I felt like you're just slowing down my Xbox for something I rarely use. About the only time I would watch Mixer was when E3 was on. I'd get out of bed at 6 a.m. on Queen's birthday Monday, and I would watch that, get the Mixpot rewards.
Yep.
And the only other time I would really watch it outside of those conferences when I was ironing all my business shirts for work. And I mean, let's be honest, I wouldn't have had to have done that this year in E3 time. But I'll chuck on someone who's better than me at Rocket League, just watch them play. Oh no,
I didn't realize Kirby was still streaming.
I actually really liked, in terms of the difference between the two, I preferred Mixer. I liked the features that they had, but the thing that I liked more was the community seemed to be full of less morons and less toxic people, which, you know, it depends on the channel and it depends on the moderation of such, but I think it's probably fair to say that Mixer had less of the toxicity that Twitch has.
Yeah, I guess the question then becomes, is that a result of something that Microsoft did, or is that something to do with how the system is set up, or is that just because on the grand scheme of things their numbers are so much lower that there's just less dicks for the bag?
That's a good saying. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a lot of answers here. I felt like Mixer was going well, but then we saw those numbers that came out. I mean, what was it, the start of June or in May, and just said year on year they've gone up 0.02% or whatever it was, and everything else had gone up a lot more. So,
and with all the money that they spent on getting, you know, Ninja and other streamers across, like, with exclusivity deals, which they're now going to have to pay out, and then those people are just going to go somewhere else. Like it's I'm sure they're kicking themselves. Like Phil Spencer saying he has no regrets it can't possibly be true.
That's my point. To say you don't have regrets about Mixer is one thing, but suggesting it was the right thing to do for your business because it wasn't performing, that's probably a fair statement. But to say you don't have any regrets about Mixer, I don't know. I don't think that's entirely true.
I mean, the only thing I could think of the way to spin it would be he doesn't have any regrets about how it went because he did everything he could and it still didn't work out. Yeah. Which is fair enough. Like, look, sometimes you do everything right and you still lose.
Yeah. Yep. Like Collingwood in the 2018 Grand Final. That wasn't everything right. Let's just put that out there. But sometimes you do a lot of right things and you get robbed in the last 90 seconds of a game because of a free that you didn't get. Anyway.
Dear.
Alright, we finished with that one. We move on to the next one.
Yep.
Alright, so I'm going to change the title up of this this article. You can finally start Windows Phone and Gear VR versions of Minecraft.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
And Kindle Fire, I think, is the other one. Because they're discontinuing support for them. So if you don't feel like going through and constantly completing it every 3 to 6 months, you've got some versions out there. You have to do a little bit of finagling to get them going, but was it Kirby?
What if you need your TA boost every 3 to 6 months? Just that little bit of buffer, you know? No?
Well, I have two active versions.
You got two
that I have to do, and I've got the Switch. I've talked about the Switch with the Minecraft on it for when we're in the hospital, but Minecraft Android, so hopefully my Android can run it. So I'll talk about the article and then we can go back to making fun of it. So the Mojang came out and had an update. They said they're going to be ending support for older devices and platforms where Minecraft is available. So Minecraft Gear VR, Minecraft Windows Phone, Kindle Fire, they're discontinued. So they presumably at some point they'll stop getting new achievements. But Minecraft Android, iOS, and Win 10, you have to have a minimum level of device. So, I mean, if you want to look at the specs of that, go and read the article. But what that means is, like we said, you can start Gear VR and soon you won't have to continue to complete it. Like the Xbox 360 version, like the Xbox One original version, not the just plain Minecraft. So, yeah, good news.
Yeah, I would say so. Do you think this is a... I mean, I know Minecraft is a bit of a outlier, but do you think that this is something that we'll see going forward with the way the generations have moved to say, hey, this, you know, we've got this crossover happening with these games are going to be playable on Xbox One X as well as the Series X. how are they going to phase out? They're going to be like, okay, this one comes out for this one's coming out for the old console, this one comes out for the old console, but not this one. Like, where does that cutoff happen? How do you message that? If this is going to be a thing going forward?
Well, I think it's only really a problem if you have your game on so many devices. Because, I mean, who's playing it on a Gear VR? Who's playing it on a Kindle Fire?
That's true. Well, I mean, I get like
Who's
I said,
not playing
Minecraft
it on a Kindle Fire?
Right? I mean, like Minecraft is like crazy popular, and I understand it being on so many different things.
But if they had said, we're properly discontinuing Windows 10 or Xbox One, you'd be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. These other ones are kind of like outliers. I mean, if they're going to keep putting stuff in the game, you're going to have a certain level of Android or iPhone to run it, because it chugs as it is a little bit, especially when it's starting up.
Especially when you're running the achievement world.
Yeah, that's a big world, man. That's a great world, man. So good.
It's so perfected now. I love it.
People coming into it now, it's just like, here's your list of tasks. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, you're done, mate. No worries. Now just leave the game turned on for 25 hours.
Exactly it.
Yep. Back in my day, we had to download individual worlds for the download packs, for the title updates. Back in my day. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Back in my day, you had to use the tutorial world.
Yeah, I did that. I was late to the party, but I still used that tutorial world to do a whole bunch of achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if It's Showtime listens, but It's Showtime is a bloody legend. Yeah. Him and I think Sasha Morning and Bullet Lukey are the ones that built that achievement world, and it's, mate,
just a masterpiece.
It's just excellent.
It's just one of those concepts, I guess, that the community can really come together and just help other achievement hunters as well.
Mm. I think about it. I was talking to someone the other day. It might have been someone's young niece or something like that. They were talking about Minecraft, and I'm like, yeah, I've got all the achievements in Minecraft. And they're like, what? How'd you do that? And I'm like, well,
just really good at it.
Yeah. Like, oh, how'd you do this? I'm like, oh, just good at it. But
good quotation marks.
Really good at following.
Hey, mate. As with real life, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Okay. I'm just thinking, now I'm going to play Gear VR. Like, going to get one of the box and put my Galaxy S8 in it, and oh man, this Minecraft world. Oh, it's real good. I still don't think I'll do that one. But
are you going to attempt the other stacks, or?
Well, didn't Kirby talk about? Was it this week he was talking about his Amazon coins and his Amazon purchase? That was for one of the Minecrafts, wasn't it?
Because he's doing Kindle Fire through BlueStacks, I believe.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He was talking about that, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
BlueStacks is basically an emulator, yeah?
Yeah, it's an Android emulator, yeah.
Yeah. So just running it through there.
So you run that on your PC?
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So as far as I'm aware, if you work around it, you could potentially get every stack done without Gear VR as well as Kindle Fire and all that.
I don't know if I could deal with having to go through that.
I've got access to... I should be able to get access to every single stack. I'm thinking about doing them all.
That's impressive. All right, well, I will... I wait with bated breath to see how that goes.
Cameron's putting out a challenge to race everyone to the Minecraft series.
Oh, mate. I've been doing it on the Switch this week a little bit, but the Switch thing was that hard to work out, though, how to join a friend's world.
Oh. Can you run me through it offline, because in about 6 weeks, and I'm going to word this very carefully. In 6 weeks, when my daughter is born,
jinx yourself.
There's going to be time after the birth, where I'm there and not much is happening. So I'm going to hit up some Minecraft Switch achievements.
All right. Before you
I'm
say anything,
going to be watching the friend feed. I'm going to see what happens.
Before you say anything, I'm just going to say every parent that listens to this podcast right now is laughing at you. That you think you're going to have the time to be able to do that.
In the hospital.
I mean, like after the hospital.
No. We're talking about in the hospital, mate.
Okay.
But also after the hospital, I mean, I'll already be finished Minecraft. But after the hospital, just still gaming, mate. Don't worry about it.
It'll just be leaving the Switch on the counter and just like going back every 20 minutes. Just like, all right.
Dragging the key lock out of the box to get you unlock it. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. All right. Well, I will let everyone know when my daughter is born before I start playing Minecraft Switch, probably. I think so.
Can a Switch take photos? I can't remember. Does it have a camera?
I mean, he probably has a cell phone on him, like, you know, a human in the 21st century.
Yes.
But
Yes. A human under 50 in the 21st century, yeah. Okay. All right.
I know, he looks pretty old. You carrying around a Nokia, Alex?
Oh, mate, 3310. If you're not careful, I'll throw it at you, and you'll be erased from
Mate,
history.
that's assault with a deadly weapon.
Mate,
whole
I'll be in the
family
You get
tree.
5 to 10 for that.
Oh, gone.
I'll be in the bloody hospital. Jeez.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. There you go. So it's time to start some Minecraft.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to what we've been playing this week then. So, Matt, looks like you're on the top of the list. You like talking about games?
What?
Yeah, you do.
I mean, like, I'm just here for the singing, mate. All right.
Oh, wait,
What have
before you get onto the singing, I've been meaning to tell you. So, in my Kane and Lynch session, so you know I'm doing Kane and Lynch sessions on Saturday morning. They started by this guy, Mad Rocketansky, who joined our Discord a couple of weeks ago, and he'll hear this in a few weeks, and he'll send me a text message going, "Oh man, you mentioned me on the show." He loves the songs of the week, and he has pointed that out to me numerous times. He loves them. He was like, "Oh, I don't really know how to listen to podcasts," and I kind of ran him through it. I mentioned it in the boosting session to start, of course, because,
as you should do.
That's what any good fan of this show does. But got him onto the podcast a little bit, and I think he listens to it while he landscapes, because I just get a message during the day being like, "Oh man, you know, that song that was sung that way, oh, it was so good." So that's kudos to you, and Tarragon have been the most recent ones, so he's listening from the start of this year. The other thing he said was he's listened to a few shows from the start of the year. He goes, "It's so interesting listening to you guys 6 months ago, not knowing that coronavirus is coming and the things that you're talking about." He said it's just like a really surreal experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hindsight is 2020, eh?
Yeah.
He, I was going to say, from that party last night, did he actually realise that I was just trolling him the whole time and he did not speak to me 2 months ago?
Well, I was right now years old when I realised you were trolling. I thought you were serious. I'm like, when were we going to party together?
He'll get up to this episode and I'll be like, there's going to be no conversation.
There's a fine line between like trolling someone and gaslighting them to make them think they're crazy.
Well, yeah, well, that's news to me, Cameron, because I was in that party and I didn't know. But anyway.
Quick announcement before we move on to games we played that I wanted to say. Xbox Summer Game Fest does start next week on July 21st. Xbox will have 60 demos up for unreleased games during the festival.
Sick.
Some really nice stuff in there too. So definitely check it out, and it will be all available by demos by a Game Fest demo tile on the Xbox One dashboard.
That's good. I'm really looking forward to Dead Static Drive when that eventually comes out.
That does look good.
We played that at PAX last year. I don't know if you guys did, but I know I did.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Just the fact that we can't go to PAX and that kind of stuff this year. Like, just them announcing, alright, we're going to have a week of, 60 game demos available for you to mess around with.
Man, I mean, I'm like,
Looking
that's
forward
great.
to it.
That's great and all, but I'm going to miss out on the con experience of nearly passing out in the heat and eating basement chicken.
BO for
and
days.
BO, yep.
Oh, man.
And trying to see how many desserts we can eat from that Italian place that we went.
Watching Alex order a chicken parm for breakfast.
Oh,
I'm not really sure what the problem is.
The fact that it was basically deconstructed. It was like you got offended.
That was a laugh. That place.
Why is the menu in French and in English?
Yes, why was it?
Because it was a fancy place. I was trying to impress my mates by taking them to, some... I don't know.
It's not like we're in Canada where parts of Canada actually speak French. Like, that would have made sense. I'm like, we're in Melbourne, mate. And, anyway,
we should have tipped the waiter. We really should have.
I always enjoy a good restaurant experience where even when it's written in English, I have to go, what does that actually mean? What is that? Oh, that's the English one. Okay. All right.
Can I just get a big breakfast?
Yeah, mate,
we don't do that here.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get off this and listen to Matt talk to us about some video games.
Alright, so I finished up Animegate of Memories. So did my last New Game Plus playthrough, got to level 20, did all the bosses. Wasn't too bad.
What kind of game
New
is
Game
that?
It is a character action game.
Oh,
So-
it sounds like one of those Japanese visual novels.
No, it's think sort of Devil May Cry light.
Ah, yes.
So like not as like not quite as frenetic and combo heavy, but still like you need to be quick at dodging. You need to throw together combos. You've got like a transformation mechanic where you can switch between two characters and they have different abilities. And then basically, like I talked about last week, they essentially just ripped off the concept from Demon Souls, where you're in a Nexus area and you go to 5 different wings, and each area is like a unique sort of world where you go through like 3 or 4 areas and then you fight a boss. It's like if you were like rushing through the game, you get through it pretty quickly. TA has it down for like a 25-hour, but I got it done in like 18 hours, I think. So like if you got the guide's really really good for it for the most part.
Just on that.
Yep.
When you guys are following a guide for something, and you see something which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, do you ever like submit feedback in the forums or to the author?
I usually write it down and say that I'm going to, and then never actually do it.
That's what I thought, because I do that too.
Yeah, no,
I'll
I was
read
like, I
some
should
things
definitely
and I'm
know
like,
that.
What? What are you trying to say here? And then I try and do what they're doing, and obviously it doesn't work, and I'm like, what? Yeah, someone needs to fix that.
I'll hunt around just to see if there's an alternative walkthrough or a video guide or something, just to double check. But I rarely, if ever, submit feedback.
Yeah. All right, carry on.
I also played Etherborn. It is a top-down, or it's kind of isometric view. It's a platformer basically, but it's like fixed camera angles. But it's all about gravity mechanics. So if you run up a curve, you essentially run onto whatever that surface is, and that surface becomes the gravity point. Okay. So it's like if you jump over something, you won't change the gravity. But if you walk over it and it curves onto another surface, then it'll change the gravity, which it messes with a lot. I used a guide for most of it. Like, so that made it you have to play through it twice. There's like a New Game Plus where they changed up the puzzles a little bit. But you get it done in maybe 2 hours if you're following a guide. If you didn't use the guide, you'd be there for quite a while. Because, like, I did like the first chapter on my own. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is an interesting concept. I can kind of see where they're going with it. But unlike something like Portal or, Chromagun or something that's a bit more contained and you kind of understand the rules a lot more, this is a lot more freeform. Like, there are a lot of ways to solve the puzzles if you know how to use the physics and how to use the gravity, which makes it ridiculously complex towards the end, where you're like, okay, I know I have to grab this item that's over in the air over here, but I can't touch this surface, so I need to run over here, jump over here, but if I fall over here... And also, you need to do the platforming well, so if you mess up the platforming, then you end up somewhere else. You're like, okay, well, I've fallen down here, I can't jump back up, but maybe I can walk around. It gets crazy complex very, very quickly. I think, pretty good game overall. I mean, it's got some sort of weird story about finding yourself, and I don't know, it's one of those artsy games that has it's obviously saying more than I can understand, but also I don't care.
The game was us all along.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Yeah, the magic was inside you all along. You didn't need the hubcap. I also played Subject 13, which is an absolute dumpster fire of a game. That game is terrible. It is another fixed camera angle, but it's a walking around, clicking on things and doing puzzles kind of game. The kind of thing that would usually be like a Flash game. And it's like, oh, hey, you've try and solve these puzzles. Do these sliding block puzzles. Everyone's favorite things. God, I hate those so much.
The sliding block puzzles where you have to like get one sliding block out of it. I actually really like those.
Well, so, yes, they have those, and then you also have the here's a square picture. You need to align the squares in a grid to make it fit, and you can only move one piece at a time and slide it up and down or across.
Oh yeah, no, they're no good.
Yep. So you've got those. You've got like your classic mirror redirecting light beams. You've got
oh man, they're hitting every puzzle beat.
Yep, everything. Like every single generic puzzle that you've ever seen in some terrible mobile game is in this thing, and it's not great. And then you get to the last puzzle. The last puzzle is a giant Minesweeper board.
Oh,
like
wonderful!
It's huge. Like it goes around. It's basically like a holographic image that comes out of a cube, and you have to spin your way around the cube.
Oh,
and
a 3-dimensional Minesweeper. Oh,
it's awful. Yeah, so you basically be like, okay, this. And also, the worst thing about it is there's an achievement for beating that specific puzzle at the very end of the game in under 20 minutes. Which I did not get my first time, so guess who had to play through the game twice?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was bad. I screwed that up, so I went back and did it. And so I tried doing it legit the first time, and the second time I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to tap every single square and just keep... Because you can fail it, and you just have to take the orb off the top of the thing and then put it back, and it resets it. And it'll show you where any mine that you've triggered, it'll show you it. So it's easier to just trigger all the mines and then just reveal all the squares than it is to go through, reveal the square, look at the number, mark it as a maybe, and then accidentally click the wrong one and have all of your progress wiped. So it's like, no, I'll just click all of them. So I just brute forced it.
How long did it take you on the second try to get it?
I think I did it in like 18 minutes. Like okay. It was really close.
Okay, so not a lot of room for error.
No, there is. Yeah, like you also need to get lucky because it's random each time. You can't follow a guide.
Yep.
So you just got to mash your way through it and hope you hit all the bombs pretty early on. But that game's terrible. Decent TA for it though. I mean, and for a terrible, trash, easy, quick game. Yeah, terrible. But I mean, like the estimate for it is like 6 to 8 hours, but like I got it done 3 to 4. So and I went through it twice, so you'd be fine. I bit the bullet and I went back and I did Bridge Constructor Portal DLC because they dinged me with that when it was on Game Pass last time.
Before they released the new DLC.
Yep. That's almost certainly what's going to happen.
Yep.
So for our long-time listeners, you'll know that I played Bridge Constructor Portal when it was in Game Pass, and I was like, didn't really enjoy it. It was 50 levels, and it was probably about 40 levels too long. You just do the same thing over and over again, and there's the puzzle aspect of it is just not that fun to me. And I'm not an engineer at heart, or soul, or mind, or body. Like I'm in no way an engineer. I'm a marketer. So it was pretty tedious to say the least. So then it went off Game Pass, and I was like, oh great, well I'm done with that. And then they released some DLC for it, some paid DLC with some new achievements, but it wasn't on Game Pass anymore. So now it's back on Game Pass at the moment. So I said, well, screw it. I'll grab it. I downloaded it, installed the DLC. Another 30 levels to do. But this time, at least, you can move the portals yourself, which adds a level of complexity, but also makes it a lot easier to solve the puzzles without building massive bridges, because you can kind of fudge it. There was really only one level that I had trouble with. The TA estimate for the DLC says 12 to 15 hours. You can get it done in like 9 to 10. Realistically, like if you're following a guide, you just look at the image and you just spend some time. It's basically like making Lego. You're just putting blocks together and like, okay, does this match up with this? Match up with this? Look at the image. Look at what I've got. Look at the image. It's basically spot the difference, except with more explosions.
That's a shame, because I was thinking as you talked about this with the Portal DLC for Defense Grid.
See, that was really good.
Really good.
Yeah, it was really good. This doesn't have nearly the same amount of love and care put into it.
Is GLaDOS in this DLC at all?
I didn't really notice. So I think she might maybe at the beginning, but like they didn't record. It doesn't sound like they recorded any new lines for her or anything. It just it was, and like you can't actually buy the DLC on the Microsoft Store, which is a weird thing. You actually have to buy it in-game. So it's essentially like an in-game microtransaction, because it doesn't download or install anything. It's essentially just more levels that you just have to pay for that are already in the game. So, whatever. I mean, like, to be fair, it's not a big game. Probably not that difficult to program it to add some extra levels in there. But whatever, it's done. Hopefully I don't have to worry about it. Hopefully I don't release any more DLC for it, but I'm not that lucky. So the main thing I've been playing this week is I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Pankapu.
Pankapu?
Pankapu?
Yeah.
Pankapu? Yeah.
Papu.
Sure. Any of those variations. It is a action platformer, side-scrolling, has some light Metroidvania elements into it. Pretty good game, actually. You play as... it's basically like a kid getting a story told to them about like the myth of creation. And there's all kinds of like throwing a bunch of stuff together from Eastern religions and that sort of stuff around, rebirth and the universe and the fight between good and evil, etc., etc. It's pretty generic story-wise. But the game itself is actually like a mildly challenging action platformer where you got to fight off enemies. You switch between forms, so you have like a sword form, a mage form, and an archer form, and you unlock more abilities for them. And then you modify them with various elemental abilities. So, like you can each of them has, so you've got 4 variations per weapon that you have. So this, sword has 4, bow has 4, and mage has 4. So you can kind of mix and match for what kind of playstyle you want. Like one of them is more defensive, one of them puts fire on the ground when you attack enemies. Like it doesn't change up the game too much, but kind of enough to make it like a little bit more interesting. And when you get a new one, you kind of want to play around with it and test it out and see what you can do with it. The guides for this are not that great, partly because there isn't really one for a lot of Xbox stuff, and the PlayStation version of this game only has the first 2 chapters in it for some reason. So, or at least as far as I can tell, like it only has 10 trophies. But it has 56 achievements. So they obviously added a lot more to the game. Like they added the 3rd and 4th chapters to it after they released it on the PlayStation. Again, I don't know if that's been patched in and they just didn't add trophies to it or what. But yeah, it's kind of a weird mix. But it also means that you can find collectible guides for the first 2 chapters for the 200 things you need to collect and all the sort of special items. But after that, you kind of run your own. Yeah, but thankfully there are no achievements for those extra collectibles, but they are pretty much necessary if you want to get like level upgrades. Like you get like pieces, like the equivalent of pieces of heart to increase how many hits you can take, and you also get like mana upgrades and upgrades to your 3 forms. So like there's quite a bit of an upgrade tree in there in terms of finding collectibles and like hidden secrets. It reminds me a lot of Rayman actually. In terms of
that sounds like praise.
Yeah, like I actually, it's a bit repetitive and it goes on for maybe a little bit too long. Like when I got to the end of the 3rd chapter, I was like, I'm kind of done with this game. Like I didn't really need the extra 2 really difficult boss battles towards the end.
It's just like Rayman.
Yeah, it kind of actually, like it just overstays its welcome a little bit. I mean, to be fair, Rayman Legends overstayed its welcome by about 6 months.
Yep.
But yeah, like I would say, like I got it on sale and I would recommend it. Like it was sitting in my backlog and I was just like, hey, I wanted something new to play that I hadn't already started. Just that was kind of, it's got like a 1.8 ratio and it's a 10 to 12 hour completion. Like there is some challenge in it, but most of the achievements you get from either progressing through the story, finding collectibles, or killing a certain number of each enemy. And that's pretty much it. Like the only difficult parts are there are some like slightly challenging platforming parts towards the end that really sort of test your abilities of how to switch between the forms, because like one of them has a double jump, one of them has a glide, one of them has the magnet thing where you can walk on the ceiling, and so switching between them to get around stuff can be quite challenging. And then the last 2 boss fights especially are quite difficult. They took me quite a few tries, but. Overall, I would say a positive game. Definitely worth playing. And then I've just started, as my next sort of thing, I've started on the Steven Universe game, Save the Light. It's okay. It's a sort of action RPG. So, it's an RPG with action mechanics in it. That's the one. For the audio listeners at home, which is literally all of you, Cameron was just holding up a disc copy of the game.
That I got for $10
Is that a
with
Cartoon Network game?
Yep.
Yeah, so Cartoon Network put that out.
It's a bundle from Target that I bought with Save the Light and plus OKKO Let's Play Heroes.
Yeah, which I also is in my backlog. So this one's fine. Like it has that sort of Mario, the sort of Paper Mario thing where you get into battles and you have to press the button at the right time to do extra damage or extra attacks, and you also need to press A at the right time to block more damage. So there's a lot more timing-based mechanics, and like a lot of the abilities have little mini games involved with them, which is fine. But it gets a little bit old, and like you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, like it's an RPG, so I'm not expecting big changes to stuff over and over and over. But yeah, I got up to the first boss, and I'm not really having a great time with it. I'll probably put a bit more time into it this week later on. But yeah, it's fine. It's sort of your average game. I mean, like there's nothing particularly bad about it. But yeah, and also I've been playing some trash, but I won't get into it. But that puts me at 10,065 this week.
So I wanted to ask you as well, as we talked, I don't know how many episodes ago, about what's left in the backlog, how many's left in the backlog. Do you know roughly how many is now? Because you've been completing a lot of games lately.
Yeah, I've been. To be fair, a lot of that's just cleanup for those Rattalikers and the quick stuff. But I'm probably sitting at about 200 games, maybe. I mean, again, it's hard to quantify because now, whenever you look at look at my Xbox One now. I'll just pull it up. I've still got. I think I've got about maybe 60 or 70 Xbox 360 games that aren't backwards compatible that I need to finish. So that's basically stuff that's installed from like Live Arcade, along with what's left of my disc collection. And in terms of what I've got in the backlog for the Xbox One, what is it filtered down to? It won't tell me. How many is there? I mean, it says that there's 925 games, but I've hidden a lot of those or finished them. So I would say, yeah, I'd say you're probably looking at about maybe 250.
Okay.
Yeah, the number's not really getting much lower, to be honest. I've been spending a lot of time
playing Rocket League. I know it happens to me as well.
Yeah, no, it gets
so
you every time. Yeah, no, it's Neverwinter has actually been the other thing that I've been putting quite a bit of time into. There's going to be... It's my favourite time of year. Time for the mod update. So there's the new update comes out at the end of the month, and they're basically broken everything, as they always do. So they've completely ruined my class. And so I'm going to be forced to be a healer, but then also get to be a subpar healer as well. So the thing that I get to do now, I just get to be worse at it, which is nice. So I got that to look forward to. And one thing I forgot to mention is that Cameron, Brad, and I did a bit more of Remnant. But I'm sure Cameron will talk a little bit about that. But yeah, we made some progress, which is a nice change.
Well, do you want to talk about your games then, Cameron? Bring that up.
Oh, I'll be happy to. Yeah, alright, just getting into that Remnant talk then. I carried Matt and Brad.
Oh, no, Cameron, I'm putting the kibosh on this right now, okay?
No.
I was the one who was carrying both of you.
Okay,
seriously,
okay.
I'm going to have to see a chiropractor every day for a week.
Look. You weren't carrying me. We were most definitely both carrying Brad.
We'll agree on that.
Can we just say the story of how I repeatedly said, let's go and get some Greenleaf, because that takes off our corrosive damage, reduces it by half. Builds resistance by half, so we take less damage. Mm-hmm. Let's just go back to the shop, stock up on it. We've got plenty of scrap. We can buy tons upon tons. Brad, let's just get this done. 20 failed attempts later, we finally go to the shop. Takes us 2 tries.
Yeah, we smashed it.
Is this when I popped into your party for like...
Yep,
3 or 4 minutes.
That was it.
Yeah, you guys were not having a good time.
No, it was Salt City. I mean, I'm usually not. I usually don't get that salty for the most part. But even Brad was like, "Man, you need to calm down."
We never hear Matt angry, and he was angry.
What about World at War? He was a bit
oh yeah, World at War. That's totally different though. I mean, look, zombies is like.
No, this was. I reckon that was. like the other night was much worse than World of
Yeah,
War.
it was pretty bad actually. Like it was, but to be fair, they've actually just patched the boss. Well, looks like they patched because the patch came out and the boss seemed to be a lot easier.
I need to look that up because I'm just like,
I don't know if it was the placebo effect and we just got better at it, or if they'd patched it to make it like less unfair. But we did get the routine down pretty well.
all right, let's have a look.
Especially those when she comes down from the when she pulls out the scythe and starts coming at you. We got really good at the timing for those dodges.
Yeah, that's not what you don't want to be on the end of a scythe, eh?
Nah.
Well, actually, like Grim Reaper style.
Yeah. Very she has like a three hit combo, but like it's not a like slice. It's a slice, and then there's a pause. So if you dodge after the second one, you always get hit by the third one. So you have to wait.
I saw the Grim Reaper this week, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. In one of the games I was playing, but I'll talk that when it's my turn. Cameron's still looking something up.
Sorry,
on the
I'm
side.
still trying to find it.
Oh, it
He's
doesn't matter,
typing
Cameron.
in
What else have you been playing?
How to
I'll look for it.
Google things.
Mods, armors, traits, enemies. I've just
This is all just great podcasting.
it's
know, right?
absolutely
Listening.
lovely. Nothing that I can see. We're just going to put it down to the placebo effect until we get called out on it. Yeah.
Yep, no,
great.
we did great. We absolutely smashed it. First try, it was good.
You got
But
good.
after that, it was quite quickly like, we've done this one achievement. Let's go now and let's completely forget about survival.
Yeah, let's not do that. Survival's the worst.
Let's not end on a low note.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we did Remnant. We got that one achievement of 75, which honestly the most difficult boss we ever faced, except for the bridge one because they see me rolling.
They're hating, that's for sure.
That was definitely
I love
always
that
me
song.
rolling off the definitely always me rolling off the bridge. But yeah, did Dirt Free session with Robbie, Mean Machine, Chef, and Drag Frame. I still got one level to go. I think Drag's got like 5. I believe Robbie completed everything, including the DLC, and I now hate him. No, I love you, Robbie. What are we talking about? Hopefully I go back to it and get it done in my week off next week, because Platinums are absolutely hell. Did some Friday the 13th, now that I was actually around for a session on Saturday. I have no idea what I'm doing in this game. I'm going to be honest. It's just like, alright, get the miscellaneous achievements out of the way, but in terms of actually winning the match, I think there's like, you can either escape or kill Jason. I've got no idea what I'm doing.
It's authentic to the movie experience. No one has any idea what's going on, and they're just people getting murdered everywhere.
That's exactly it. Like, and I mean, Valek's the one giving directions. So,
Oh, mate. Well, no wonder you don't know what's going on. Mr. Discount Spain.
I feel like the most productive I've been in the session is blasting Dancing Queen through the speakers.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. I started Xenon Racer, which I said I was going to last week. I probably butchered that name. It was 90 or 95% off last week, and it was down to $4.50. Generic arcadey racer, except this one's a little bit different, where it's very tight corners, and you're basically, a lot of it's mostly drift. So you've got to drift around the corners to be able to not hinge the walls and lose your momentum. For the most part, it's pretty good.
That sounds like totally counter to my racing strategy. I use the walls to like maintain my speed, and if
Slingshot.
it's a car,
Gets you every time. Gets you every time. You just use the
Then
momentum.
this is not the game for you then.
Yes.
Saying that, the only issues I've had is like some of those typical racing ones where you just slightly get second place by like half a second or something like that. That kind of bull. Saying that every race that I do in campaign is marking as complete, even though if I finish that series of races for that, to get the achievement, you need to win every event. Now, I'm placing second, completing the events in that, but I don't think it's treating as a win. Because I've done one category and it hasn't unlocked the achievement, so I think I have to go back and do them all again and get first place and all. So just be wary of that. But most part, it's pretty It's pretty good. I mean, it wears out quite quickly. It's not like there's nothing as good as Forza. But, I mean, it's alright to chuck a few hours into here and there. Other than that, I finally finished Risk of Rain 2 before Brad, before Kirby, and before Aptos. Just gotta say that. Nah. I got the Hermit Crab achievement out of the way pretty quickly, which to me it was just getting to stage 6 within about 45 minutes and half an hour of just knocking him off the edge. It's just a very tedious achievement, but smashed that out. Aptos helped me with the Monsoon difficulty elite boss, which worked quite well. I felt really bad because we did a 20 stage run for him and got to the end of stage 19 in like an hour and 20 minutes, and then we both just got one hit. I got one hit at the start of the round, and then he got one hit, and just the level of assault. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I was trying my best to carry you, but I died. Because at this point in time, I hadn't died until the start of Wave 19, and he had probably died 4 or 5 times by this point. But he's got the completion now. I think Kirby's pretty close, and I think Brad's cleaned it up as well. Great game. It's probably one of the best roguelites I've ever played, in my opinion.
You played a lot of them?
Not really. But, like...
Kirby would also agree, though. I think it's one of his favourite too, and he plays all of them because he's a trash fiend. Like,
it's one of those games that after I've completed... There's a few games that are like this, like just patting Alex on the back for a second. Rocket League's one of them that I had to uninstall because I didn't want to spend time in it and not get achievements anymore.
Mm-hmm. I am the same, but I don't uninstall Rocket League, and I play it.
So you're the same, but completely the opposite.
Yeah, I don't want to play Rocket League because I'm not getting achievements in other games, so I play Rocket League. It makes perfect sense to me.
I want to install it again, but just not until they add new stuff. Dying Light, I continued on through the bull that is Bozak. Still can't get it. Tried a few times. I've tried to do the duplication glitch to get to level 250 so I can breeze through it. It's just not working for me.
That made me really sweary when we were playing the other day.
I was trying to think what's worse, the Remnant DLC the Remnant Queen this week, or Dying Light and Bozark. I really can't put which one's worse.
Yes, I'm not starting that game. I think I've changed my mind.
Everything else about the game is really good, except maybe those fast trials, but that's a title update. The base game, the following DLC, excellent.
You don't like the parkour challenges, Alex?
I've not done any.
Hardcore parkour!
Me and Alex were talking about parkour this week, and he's just like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And I'm like, mate, like, everybody's telling me that it's too hard. I don't want to do it. And then I've just messaged back the next day, just like, yep, Slums is done. I just got to do Old Town now. To do 5 of them probably took me an hour and a half.
Oof.
So it wasn't that bad. It's mostly memorization of the track that you're doing.
So it'll take me 3 hours.
Saying that, I mean, you know how aggressively I go into games. Let's just say Alex is probably going to be double my runtime. And that's putting it politely, because I basically just went, all right, watch the video. Cool, I've got a good idea of what they're doing there. Just went through it. All right, got hit. The worst thing for me is that you need to do these at night to get both achievements. You can do like them during the day, but you'll only net the one. Doing it at night, the main issue for me was I'd restart because I'd just make a simple mistake. And by the time I've done that 2 or 3 times, the day's already gone to morning. And I'll complete the stage during the morning, and it's like, all right, cool, I've done it now, but I need to go back and redo it. Because I think the day only spans from 9 to 6 a.m. Saying that, did the following DLC. I don't know if I want to give spoilers or not.
Nah, don't, because people actually like. I hear it's quite good. People are interested.
It's quite a good story up until you get to the final bit.
That's still a good story.
I immediately, as soon as I finished that game, I joined your party and I told you how much I disliked it.
Yeah, but that's because you chose the wrong ending.
Mate, both of them are the wrong ending.
That's the thing about ending things. It's hard to do.
No one sticks the landing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to podcasts in the future and you hear me talk about this and you've just finished the following, tell me how much you also disliked it and what choice you made, because both of them are wrong and there's no right answers here. But saying that, the only stuff I've got to clean up is the Old Town parkour challenges. I need to do Bozark, and I need to hit... I'm trying to think what the zombie type is called. Demolisher? With my vehicle. And it's not that hard.
Demolishers are pain.
It's not that hard. You just need to have a high leveled vehicle.
Are the Demolishers the ones where they spawn 3 of them at the bottom of that outside bit in Bozark Horde? Are they the Demolishers?
I thought they were Juggernauts or something referred to as that. I think they're... Okay, the Demolishers are slightly more beefy boys.
Okay.
But I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, don't worry. Our audience will.
Yeah, they always do. Minecraft, I have started the Switch... Oh, well, I've done a little bit more of the Switch version. I believe I've got 10 to 12 achievements left in the Android, and I finished the normal because I got some... gave somebody some stew. Halo 3, we did a boosting session on the weekend with my good friend ProfessorPluto. You may have heard of him.
I hear he's a bloody legend.
The artist formerly known as Professor Pluto. Yeah. Professor Pluto 1.
Yeah.
So we started this session, to which I got booted out into the main menu for whatever reason. So I just dug through the maps on Forge, got the skulls. Sorry, I should say we were going for the Mythic Pack stuff and Halo 3, the DLC stuff. I just got some of that smashed out of the way, joined in after, began listening to the background noise that was... What was his name? Alex?
Mallets?
No, not Mallets, the other one.
Unsinkable.
Oh,
yeah, we were practically watching I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me if this is too loud. And it's like, if this was in my house, it would be too loud. But this guy's in the United States, and it's too loud. I'm like, his wife
it's 2 a.m. in the morning.
His son were watching it, and I'm like, do they have hearing loss? I don't understand. I mean, it wasn't distracting, or it didn't really distract us, but I'm just like, wow, okay, I didn't realise that was I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry. Like, I haven't seen it before. I have now, but I haven't seen it before.
You listened to the audiobook version.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I was going to say, there was a moment where I started into the mic that Alex tried to promptly call me out, and I was just like, no, double standards. You can't say that when we're basically watching a movie together in the background.
Yeah.
It's like the old days when you could watch Netflix together on an Xbox Live party.
Yeah. But got to the point where after the movie, played a bit of music, quickly turned into one of my famous gaming sessions.
That's what the song was. It was something by Savage Garden, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm trying to think. There was Savage Garden. There's so many classics, so many 90s songs in there. You know what it was?
What?
Tell me why.
Yeah. All right, now number 5. I never want to hear you say yes.
I want those cheap. I don't know. But yeah, we should.
I was going to say you're ruining my songs of the week here because writing these down desperately trying to come up with good ideas.
So if you know the song of the week, but yeah, no. Look, any session that I do that basically resorts to singing by the end of it, it's a good session in my eyes.
Well, we got most of the DLC done. Because the problem with the Halo DLC is that a lot of the times you need to be on a specific map to do things, and on other times you need to be in a specific game type to do certain things. And inevitably, whichever ones you do need don't come up.
Well, now that Halo 3 is coming out on PC tomorrow, that should definitely help our chances, yeah?
Yeah, no. I'm not.
Not how it works? Okay.
Not quite.
Yeah, but we got a fair chunk of it. I think we've got to do Oddball. We've got to do what was the achievement I fed you with the from the grave. Get to from the grave medals in a
match.
In a match.
It's on a certain map, Orbital maybe.
Orbital. I think.
I remember that one.
Then we just got to do the ranked stuff.
I've already done that ranked stuff.
You're still helping me.
No, mate.
You're still helping
My
me.
XP's too high for you, mate. I can't join you.
Anyway.
But that's the good thing that I realised after this session. We did the good bloke thing and we joined the session that's coming up next week. But Cameron and I both have 4 controllers each, so we don't actually need to join this session. We could just play him and I, but...
I also myself have 4 consoles and 8 controllers, so I could quite easily get rid of you as well.
Okay, I'll go and see what Dean's doing. He's already finished Halo 3. You can just hop in and...
Dean, you don't steal my thunder. You let him suffer.
He's already got the completion.
He's going to help me with ranked. That's how it works, Alex.
I can't, mate. I'm too high ranked. I can't join you.
Not with that attitude. D rank.
No, you can D rank.
In what world do you have a higher rank than me in Halo?
Okay.
This one, apparently.
Wow, I was going to say, do you want to get it out and measure it? Because mine's bigger.
There's
a clip of the week.
Yeah.
And everybody listening to the outtakes will get that reference.
Yeah, it's you have to be, to join in those base game ranked achievements, you have to be within 10 EXP levels of each other. And I'm at 18 for Lone Wolf, and you were at 0 when we started the session, so...
Yeah. Because I've done every bit of Halo on MCC, but not really touched any of the 360 games on my new profile. Because before the Xbox One generation, I did have a 360 one that I decided to restart, because all I did was play COD and Halo.
Alright.
Back in those days.
So you played some other games here?
Yeah, and the other games that I decided yesterday, I want to... In my week building up to my week off, seeing that this is probably the first week off that I've had probably since my daughter's birth, I just want to go for at least 20k. Want to give a good hit for it. So last night I finished Read 2, Gun Crazy, Rush Rover, and Clash Force, and I got a bit into the way of Concept Destruction, where I just went, alright, I just feel like going to bed now. I'm probably just going to knock out some Rotolarkers, some other stuff that's on my catalogs that I've been meaning to get to, such as Dying Light, and maybe even Watch Dogs at one point as well.
Watch Dogs 1?
Yeah, I'm just missing.
360?
I haven't touched the 360 one yet.
On the 1. No, on the 1. Yeah,
I've
on the 1.
The one I've got the DLC done for, is it T-Bone?
Damn you, I need to do that.
Yeah, DLC is pretty good for that. DLC is better than the base game story, in my opinion.
That's not a high bar.
Yeah, that's true. The only achievement I'm missing for that is the song sneak thing.
Of course.
That's
I'm
easy.
missing one.
That's easy. I'm missing
I'm convinced it's glitched.
Nah, it's not. You just got to go to the right place to find the songs. I followed the guide on True Achievements to get that. I'm missing some fixer contracts, I think it is. They just won't spawn. So I can't go and do the contracts. They just won't. Anyway. So I gave up on that.
But yeah, I'm thinking I might go back and do that. I might do the original Watch Dogs, because when it first released, I had a lot of fun with it.
Alright, now which game last night was making you angrier than Matt was at Remnant?
Read 2.
Okay, Read 2.
Oh boy. Yeah, that read 1 is like difficult, or it's challenging, but read 2 starts you off difficult right from the get-go.
Yeah, it is just not. Like, I managed to finally claw through it, but God, for the last 15-20 minutes, I was just like, I'm just this close to giving up.
Yep.
It made me realise what it sounds like him being in a party with me when I'm playing Halo 4. On Legendary Solo, yeah.
Every party I've joined with you this week, it's just like, oh, the flood is too hard. I can't do it.
What are you talking about? I said that before the podcast today one time.
Yeah. And then last night it was just like, oh, I did my 4 skulls and I got 100k. It was overkill. I'm like, see, it's easy.
Yeah,
Halo is easy.
It's not.
Now just do Lasso.
No. Alright. How many gamer scores did you get for the week?
I got 6,820.
Alright.
What about you, Alex?
I don't know if I have much to add for Halo. Oh yeah, I wrote some notes here. Shadow was there. He was helpful.
Aww.
Yeah.
Such a sweetie.
Yeah. No, I actually wrote that and I was being sweet, but now I'm saying it in a sarcastic voice. So...
Tell the fans how you really feel, buddy.
I will. I realised I didn't get all the terminals when I went through and played the game the first time. So I went through and did that as well. And those stupid meta game scoring game achievements, I actually gave up on those because I reckon I went to play one of the levels and I couldn't do it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I just threw it in the bin.
Right.
But actually, I went back. I actually had a sick day yesterday. Was not feeling great. But then I went and played some Halo. And I reckon I did 4 levels. I already had 2 done. I already had 3 done. I've done 4 levels, so I've got 2 left. And one of them, yes, is the Flood. And yes, they are a pain in the butt. I've noticed... I've got an energy sword. And I've noticed when a Flood jumps and your reticle turns red and you hit them, it doesn't actually hit them. So, it makes it kind of hard to kill them. They have to be standing on the floor.
Wait, really?
Whereas, if they're jumping towards you and you have, say, a shotgun, you can still hit them.
Ah, okay.
Because it's real weird, because I did it like 3 times in a row on this same Flood, and then as soon as you were standing on the floor, just one-shotted him with the energy sword, which you do with most enemies. So, that was a real pain in the butt. Yeah, I only got 2 levels left. I was thinking... I might get all the gamer score from this game, but not all the achievements, because, I don't think I'll be doing those,
you heard it here
Vidmaster
Skull, all ghosts.
Yeah, Vidmaster, that challenge, that's one of my greatest gaming moments of all time doing that.
Which Vidmaster?
The ghosts one.
I love that. It's honestly so fun.
It is. It was really hard, but it was awesome.
I can't eat. I struggle with that when I'm the passenger in the Warthog. Okay, you want me to do it in my own Ghost, mate? I'd have to be 4th, alright? Because
I'll help you.
Yeah, well, you need to have like 6 hands, mate, because you're going to need to be 3 players.
Get some turbo carriers.
You still need to do it though. So
listen, this is one of the achievements that I will go slow into up until the point where you get ghosts, and then it's just guns blazing.
Yeah, you just go as fast as you can. I mean, look, you still get checkpoints and stuff, so it's fine.
And it's that competitiveness as well. It's just like,
but
I'm still going to be the one that beats you at the end.
Don't you have to restart the level if you fail because you're on
Iron? So Iron Skull works in the way that if you're playing a single player, the level gets restarted if you die. But if you're playing in co-op, you go to the last checkpoint if somebody dies.
Oh, okay.
So this is why if you ever play Lasso, which is legendary, all skulls on, you always want to be doing. I'm just
you were saying it for the listeners. Yeah.
Bingo, spot on, buddy.
Yep. GG.
So basically, with that though, whenever you're doing Lasso, you always want to be doing co-op, even if your second profile or second controller is inactive, because Iron Skull is the one skull that will absolutely mess you up.
Yep, one mistake and you're back to the start, which I hate.
Saying that, before you move on, Halo 3 is getting the skull added in where you can basically just be Minecraft creative mode.
Oh, that's fun.
Like fly around the map. So I'm very keen for that as well.
Yeah, well, if it's checkpointed, maybe I can do it. But as you know from playing Halo 4 with you, I am not the best in a ghost. And you couple with that the tremendously bad luck I get when I'm driving a ghost. Oh, is there things falling from the sky? Bang, it just hit my ghost.
I can just imagine you getting into a ghost, getting a checkpoint as a rocket launcher is launching at you. You're that kind of person.
I've told you, Dean, when I was playing the library with Dean, I'm like, is that a rocket launcher? Yes.
Checkpoint saved. Yeah.
Yeah, good, great comic timing there, buddy.
Yep. It was not. It was very uncomedic. It was very angry. You think you were angry on Remnant, mate? I'm tore. I didn't smash a controller, so there's that. Anyway, what else did I play this week? I played Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Alright, so the story behind this one is I had 3 achievements left. Get all your aces to max level, well, not max level, level 20. Finish the game on realistic. And play 10 scenes as the co-op partner. And the thing is, when you get into the session with Mad Rocketansky on Saturday, he looks through all your games and is like, oh, you need to finish this. Oh, you need to finish that. So he convinced me to go back with him on co-op in realistic difficulty. I got the 10 scenes last week, but we finished realistic last night. And, man, that last level is tough. For those that haven't played it, you play against the boss, and you're at his estate, and he's attacking you with a combat chopper, while enemies on the tennis court that you're outside are attacking you and shooting you, and 2 shots and you'll be killed, essentially. Yep. So
with brackets?
No, but that would be quite amusing. They're shooting at you and they're just hitting tennis balls through the fence. Oh yeah, you're dead. Sorry, mate. Don't worry about the missiles from the combat helicopter. You watch for those, anti-erotic serves towards you. They'll kill you. Yeah. Anyway,
do a McEnroe. Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. To be fair, none of us get as angry as Mad does when he's playing Rainbow Six Vegas. I thought he was smashing his controller. Like, you smashing your controller? He's like, no, I'm punching my desk. Like, alright. Like, it's okay, mate. Like, we just reload the checkpoint and go again. Yeah, once we got past the first part of the boss, because you go into the guest house or whatever it is in the second part, and no problem, we did that part first time, so no dramas. But the only reason I never did it is I thought it would be too hard and too frustrating, but we actually blasted through it. It is not very difficult.
No, I mean, like, you've got years of experience of playing shooters from when that came out, and things have changed quite a bit, and games have gotten a lot more challenging, I would say, in a lot of ways. But I think that, like, the Rainbow Six games were definitely some of my favorites in terms of, like, balance and like level design and how they all worked and stuff.
I actually really enjoyed playing Rainbow Six Vegas on realistic, which is not a sentence I thought I would say, but yeah, I did. Another game I played this week, The Sims 4. So there was a free play weekend for those who haven't played it. Do you know buying all the DLC costs like over $130?
Oh yeah, it's even more than that. Like it's
crazy.
If you get literally everything, yeah.
I was
like
going to say
Sim World, like
almost.
You do realise who the publisher is for Sims now?
Yeah.
EA.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's in the game. You just have to pay for it.
Yes, that's right. But yeah, like I said, there was a free play weekend. I hopped on Saturday after our Kane and Lynch session and just knocked it out. I think Bill's guide is what I used, but he says it's about 2 hours to beat all the achievements. I reckon it took me 3 to 4. Some of the things that happened for him in the game happened at different times for me. So I don't know if I got a bit unlucky or if he just
same for me.
Okay.
There's a little bit of luck involved, unfortunately.
Did you have issues with the plant or the flower?
Nah.
That was the only thing I seemed to struggle with.
I did. I had problems with the plant because I planted it in the green grass.
Yep.
And apparently a sim won't tend to a plant that's planted in green grass, only a plant that's planted in brown dirt. I could not get them to touch that plant that was in the green grass, but as soon as I chucked it in the dirt, no worries, she's tending away, no problem. That is where I saw the Grim Reaper.
Of course, right.
Yes.
The Black Widow.
No, before that, I did see it in the Black Widow, with 5 times, with, all the spouses dying, but it was like the first one. Maybe it was Ghost Family, the Ghost Family achievement, but yeah, it's like, alright, now load this up and you're going to get an achievement, and I'm like, I like this. But getting all the achievements for getting the careers to maximum takes a long time. That's even with the guide, so like I said, it took me probably 3 to 4 hours, so pretty easy to do.
You got the achievements that aren't listed on the actual achievements, yeah? Like putting the Sims in a swimming pool and removing the ladder?
No.
Or
No.
leaving them in the house with the...
With no door? No.
With
No, Cameron, no.
Nothing but fireplaces.
No, I did not do those things.
Okay, then you're not playing the Sims correctly.
In terms of playing the game, I did not really enjoy the playing of the game.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I enjoyed the true achievements. The true achievement score and the gamer score. But it started the weekend, I should say, at about 2,800, and it's now at about 2,700. So I don't think that many people finished it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I bought it for Alison, and a lot of people, I think, have just bought it to play it, Yeah.
I think it's one of those games that, like, when the original came out, like, I liked it, but then as time's gone on and they've added more stuff, I just don't care for it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm not a Sims player, so, I mean, free gamer score, I was like, yeah, get around me. But then if they added DLC achievements, I'm going to be very salty now. Because I have to buy the game on the DLC, but they better not. Alright, so the last game I want to talk about this week is called Deliver Us the Moon. So, it's in Game Pass at the moment, I believe. Yeah, it must be, because that's where I played it. I finished the story, finished all the achievements. I actually really enjoyed the game and the gameplay, so both. The story is really where it's at, though. The story is pretty good. So it's a story of essentially running out of power, I suppose would be the best way to describe it. Have you guys both played it?
No, I haven't actually. I've looked at it, but I've never actually jumped on it.
It only got added, I want to say a fortnight ago, yeah? Like, I think it's
I don't know exactly when
I think it's a relatively new edition.
Yeah, it came out like April, so like I remember when it was released.
But the story starts, so Earth runs out of power. Can't make any more power. So they send a rocket to the moon because there's a lot of helium on the moon, and they use the helium to generate power on the moon and beam it back to the Earth. And it powers the Earth. And in the first chapter, you find out that the power has stopped from the moon. No one knows why, but I think it was your dad that made the MPT, the microwave something transmitter, microwave power transmitter? I don't know. Whatever it was, your dad made it. So they've spent this whole time getting you ready to go to the moon. So you've been without power for a couple of years at the point you start the game. So you've got to go to the moon, find out what happened, fix the power, and, save the world, essentially. But yeah, that's the premise. It's really good. Okay. It's a really good story. Yeah, a lot of fun. It's not really difficult. Nothing in it is overly difficult. There's a couple of missable achievements, which I'll talk about in a minute. But story's a lot of fun. Achievements are straightforward. It's maybe 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours maybe. I did it in a couple of nights of playing. Yeah, it's pretty good. The achievement for collecting all the comics is a buggy one. So when you pick up the comics, you have to press X to read it, but all it does is put the blurb up on your screen from the back of the comic. You don't open it and actually read it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I did that with all of my comics, but it didn't pop. So I went back, got to the point where the comics were, made sure to press X to read it, get to the next save point, quit out and go to the next level. And it popped on the 4th level. I think there's 6 levels. Right. It popped on the 4th level for me. So either I didn't read it or it didn't register that I read it. I don't remember. I don't know which one. But that took, I don't know, that took maybe half an hour to redo that part. And the other thing is, there's an achievement called They All Float Down Here or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a spoiler for the game, and it's obviously a reference to It by Stephen King, but you pick up a duck, a hidden duck, a little squeaky duck, and then you have to find the duck's brother, and the duck's brother has a red balloon tied to it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what the picture is for that achievement. Having said that, I got through to the point where you need to get the duck. I turned right and went through the door instead of turning left and backtracking towards it, and that door locked me out.
Yep, the classic.
So I had to replay that whole chapter again, which took, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. Not that bad, but it annoyed me. But yeah, like I said, great experience. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, real good. My gamer score this week, 2,230. Pretty easy breezy.
Not bad.
Yes, I am 92 achievements away from hitting 95% as well. And then I turn on to real DLC settings.
Okay, so then we can have a real discussion about it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm going to I'll drop less than 2%. Anyway. Alright. Let's move on. Now, we can talk about some sales that have been happening. But first, we can talk about the games that are new in Game Pass. So, everyone's favourite, Fallout 76.
Boo.
Got a Windows 10 list as well.
Yeah.
They're in Game Pass. You guys excited to play it?
Oh.
Yep, your face both answered that for me, but, say it for the listeners' benefit too. No.
Not even worth free.
I think Brad shares your opinion. I follow Brad on Twitter, and on this announcement, he commented and said, "It's still too expensive," or something like that. And all these people commented back to him, going, "You're a this, and you don't know what you're talking about. This is great for Game Pass."
Saying that, I've heard that they've fixed quite a lot since launch, but they're still no.
I'm not a Fallout fan, so I'm quite happy to avoid this one as well.
The thing is, I am a Fallout fan, and I'm avoiding it also for the same reason.
Read the TA comment section for the Win 10 list. How many people just got so salty about the stack?
Yeah.
Why are they salty about it?
Because they're going to have to do it again.
Okay. All right.
If somebody came out tomorrow, and said, "All right, Neverwinter getting a Win 10 stack,"
great.
You really think Matt's going to jump on it?
Absolutely not. I mean, unless the progress carries over, in which case maybe I'll think about it. But
okay.
No, actually, no, because no, absolutely
that sounds
not.
like a trap.
No, because I know what's going to happen is that if it's the Win 10 version, they'll never stop updating it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. He was enticed for 5 whole seconds, and then he was like,
I was like, no, absolutely not. Yeah, no, I recognize a trap when I see one.
You were walking into it 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
They're just like, here's cake on this wonderful leaves. Just here.
These berries just out in the woods by themselves.
Alright, well,
anyway,
like I said, Fallout 76 is in Crosscode, is a new RPG game, and Endless Spare 2 Deluxe Edition, so they've been added to the Game Pass. Matt, do you want to tell us a little bit about these games that our Gamerscore games for the week? I think you put them in there.
Yeah, so it's just a few. Again, like we talked about, we're only picking a few of them rather than go through the whole list, but I would recommend that you check out the sale this week. It is a pretty good sale, although it's a lot of the same stuff as before.
And there's also there's an Ubisoft sale where things are up to 90% off, so some of the things will be the cheapest they've ever been, which would be nice if I hadn't bought Far Cry 5 last month, or the DLC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Far Cry 3 is like $3 or whatever. It's a great deal.
It's probably what it's worth, to be fair.
Oh, Far Cry 3 is the best one.
No, don't.
Don't
bait the troll. Don't feed the troll. Don't do it.
No, it's the best one.
The best one is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
All right, so Gamerscore game.
3.
So 1111 Memories Retold is 80% off, $5.99. It is I would say like a puzzle adventure game set during the First World War. You go perspective between the two sides of the war, and you play a different character on each side. I think Elijah Wood voices one of the characters. Drawful 2 is 50% off, $4.99.
But why didn't you pick it up when it was free?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Definitely.
had all quarantine to do that.
True. This
Just
is true.
download Session Box and do all the achievements easy.
Yep. Although I think they charge for Session Box now.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I tried to get it the other day because I just finished this a couple weeks ago. I think that I don't know if it's like a paid version of it or if there's still a free version, but yeah. Elia 90% off, $1.29. Really easy puzzle walking simulator. Few glitchy achievements, but it's not too bad. Yep. Fearful Symmetry and the Cursed Prince 90% off, 50 cents.
Really good.
That's unbelievably cheap.
Yeah, they basically given it away. So jump on that. It's you can follow a guide and just follow the directions, and you'll get most of the achievements. Really, really easy. Like I mean, literal directions because it's like a grid. Hue 80% off, $2.99. Although I think it was Game Pass or it was. Yeah,
I was going to say, is it still Game Pass? Or?
No, it came out of Game Pass a few months back. Actually, it might be even longer than that now.
Good game.
Yeah, really good game actually. Like it's quite a good sort of puzzle platformer where you change colors to either make things appear or disappear, and it kind of interacts with how you move blocks around, that sort of stuff. Not too complex till you get towards the end when you have like 5 different colors. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Planet Alpha 30% off, $5.99. It is a side-scrolling platformer. Like not that interesting. Just you kind of just run from left to right and dodge obstacles, jump over things, try and avoid getting lasered by aliens. Seasons After Fall, 80% off, $1.99. Another side scroller with some platforming, slight light puzzle elements. Follow a guide for the collectibles.
That's pretty good, that one.
Yeah, not bad. And then Virginia, 80% off, $1.99. It is the only game I've ever played with jump cuts in it.
I actually quite enjoyed that game.
I thought it was absolute trash, to be honest.
Okay.
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, neither.
Neither did I, but I enjoyed the playing of the
but
game.
I enjoyed it.
The story was good, when you go out to that cave and you get jumped, like, that's fun.
Yeah, like, look, there's, like, we're supposed to be like a X-Files-esque kind of, like, mystery game with no spoken dialogue.
The story was then a little long.
Kind of, yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little bit of make your own story, kind of interpret. It's very interpretive, but I don't know. It was like the achievements are easy. It's worth a look for $2. That's a great deal. And then in terms of recommendations, I would recommend Tembo the Badass Elephant, 70% off, $4.49. I think it was made by the Sonic team or something like that. It is a side-scrolling platformer with some combat in it. And you play an elephant with like with a bandana on, who just goes around and beats people up.
And he's badass.
It's great. It's like it's the TA on it's a little bit high, but it's actually not that difficult. Like I got through it without much trouble, so I would definitely recommend it.
Cameron?
In terms of my recommendations, most of the Final Fantasy games are 50% off this week. Mm-hmm. I specifically recommend 12. Zodiac Age is probably one of my favorite PS2 games ever.
Great game.
Can't recommend it enough.
It's basically Final Fantasy Star Wars. So,
just a great game. I don't really understand much of the story, but I mean, just do it for the gameplay. What about you, Alex? Anything?
Yeah. In the time that we've stopped playing this game, I've thought a lot about hanging out and playing this game, but Battlefield 5, it's $20 this week. That's 60% off. It is a lot of fun. I know people gave this game a really hard time when it came out, and admittedly
Don't do it. It's a trap.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, man. I'm telling you, this game is a lot of fun. Yes,
okay.
it was questionable when it came out.
The turrets are horrible.
When I played it at PAX, I just didn't like it. But then after actually getting there and playing it, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I know people are pretty unforgiving in this day and age. But the other
it's
game,
okay. Just get good boosting partners.
just for dropping the bombs on the emplacements. Stop putting your hand over the microphone and saying things. I'm gonna put that microphone down your throat. Jesus.
That goddamn turret, the goddamn airdrops in the turrets though. If you have somebody Yeah, it was easy. It was easy for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Some other people that we were boosting with were a little bit more challenged. Now, weren't they?
They had some bad
So I
times.
heard.
They had some bad times. The other game probably should be actually an easy Gamerscore game, but I actually really enjoyed the game specifically. Thomas Was Alone. 85% off, $1.64.
Yep.
It's a platforming puzzle game essentially.
Yeah, basically.
With some
Yeah, kind of.
story elements in there.
It's about
Yeah,
AI and
different-
stuff.
Yeah. And the different puzzle pieces. They do different things. They're just like blocks, almost like Tetris blocks, kind of. But it's actually a pretty compelling story. So, and $1.64. I mean, that's so cheap. It's crazy. I'm not going to buy anything this week. Matt, I presume you're not buying anything.
No, I'm not.
Cameron, anything for you to buy?
Too much to list here.
Really? Okay.
I got a relatively nice bonus from work this week. That was a very big shock to me.
All right. Well, I guess drinks are on Cameron then.
Alright. Hey, do you want to be my game share partner, bro? Thanks, man.
No. Getting taken for a ride for that enough already.
Oh.
Nah, I mean, I do have the new Sword Art Online that I have no intention of playing.
Got to play for 100 hours, mate. Come on.
I hear it's good, but I mean...
I'm sure it's great.
I'm just not
Sword
keen
Art
for
Online
100
is the
hours.
most quality anime of all time. Haven't you heard?
Most quality abridged of all time.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good, yeah.
I'm actually watching Dragon Ball Z. at the
We
moment.
need a Helsing game. We need a Helsing game.
No one needs a Helsing game.
Oh, I would play the hell out
I'm
of
not turning this into the anime podcast. We need to have like a spin-off for that. That's Patreon-only content.
it. Okay.
Well, we've got a question here from Reset42. Now, Reset writes in, says, would you prefer Play Anywhere on every title that comes out? Microsoft makes it a requirement that every game must play on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, with shared cloud saves in a single list, or would you prefer to keep stacks for each platform? Chin's left us a little comment, says, give me stacks for days, which is pretty much what I would expect from Chin. I'm expecting a lot of similar answers around the circle. Matt?
So, when they say every title, I mean, putting aside logistics stuff, I guess, I don't think every title needs to be Play Anywhere, but any title that would ordinarily have a stack, I think, yes, should be Play Anywhere and should have a single list, to be honest. I actually don't really enjoy stacking games.
What about if they're Dead Island games?
God, no.
That is a... Well, look, what is the difference between a stack and them saying, hey, it's a definitive edition, and then they don't change anything?
What's the difference between being tortured and then being tortured twice?
Being tortured in HD.
And then going back to the Japan 360 version, yeah?
Exactly, yeah, look, I can't stand stacks. I really don't enjoy them. I play a lot of them because you kind of have to be competitive, and the thinking is that if you finish the game once, you can do it twice for the most part. But honestly, I don't really enjoy replaying stuff, and I would much rather spend that time on a new game, and having the list be done and not have to worry about it, and not have to worry, the other thing is that, Win 10 stacks are a big problem for me, because I don't really have a computer that can run anything. I tried to run Abzu Win 10 on my laptop, and it nearly melted. So, literally, it was overheating, and would not, I couldn't even load the start screen, let alone the game itself.
So no Astro Blaster for you then?
No, exactly. And so that becomes a problem for me, because that means I basically am completely locked out of any Win 10 completions. And I also don't like having to buy things over and over again. I've become pretty tight with my money as my current financial situation is pretty bad. So it's needing to buy the game again to do a game that I've already done on another platform where I'm just repeating the same things over and over again for Gamerscore. It's getting a little old, It's definitely lost its luster. I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years now, right? I've got a lot of games to play.
So what you're saying is you're not going to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Series X?
Definitely not. I mean, look, I might not even buy Series X at all, to be honest, considering how many
At
stacks
all?
are going to be. Well, okay, I'm definitely not going to buy one at launch.
Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, it's I want to see how many, like, you know, how much of the smart delivery stuff actually gets implemented. Because again, like, I just don't have the budget to be buying a whole new library.
I'm thinking if I'm going to put the money up for one, it has to be before my daughter's born.
yeah,
'Cause
probably, yeah.
Admittedly, I guess contrary to your situation, I've done quite well in this pandemic. Like, I've been saving money, and I've got, you know, quite a bit saved up now. It's actually the reason I bought the Nintendo Switches, because I'm like, I just want to spend some damn money. But I know that makes me sound like a massive D-bag, and that's not the way I'm trying to come off. But if once the baby is born, you know, I can see a lot of that money going to somewhere that is not a Series X.
It's a more essential thing.
Quite likely.
Look, I don't know that I would use the word essential. Cameron,
Essential.
right?
No,
Let's
it's
not go to any drastic measures here. But
Okay, I'm just saying, you do understand that kids take food and clothing and...
really,
Yeah.
you say that like I didn't have a Tamagotchi when I was a kid. Come on, man.
Just panda the camera out to the Tamagotchi in the background that is... been
Collecting
dead
dust,
for-
there's a cobweb on it. And some rats trying to drag it away.
dead for 15 years.
All right. Well, if we get back on topic, in terms of play anywhere, I think I've played one PC game that's on my gamer card, and it was Fallout 3 PC.
Right.
And that's not a Play Anywhere title. That's just Fallout 3 PC. I actually looked up a video the other day because I had no idea how to get PC games, and I was interested in playing. I think Astro Blaster is one of them, and there's one more game that's pretty easy to complete. I can take or leave Play Anywhere. I don't really care. In terms of stacks, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can make an argument either way. I don't really feel too strongly about either. Just mostly indifferent. But Cameron, any thoughts?
I was just quickly trying to look up if I've done any, like, many stacks myself. I kind of feel like I'm in that weird spot where I'm kind of like a bit of hybrid. I don't mind stacks because I do have the option of, if I really enjoy a game and want to go back to it, then I can always just buy it on another console or do it on Windows 10 and do that again. If I really enjoy something's gameplay and want to go back and re-experience it straight away.
Like Dead Island, yes, good point.
I think Bioshock is usually a pretty good example because it's a relatively short, easy game that has a really good story and the gameplay is pretty good. But you also, how many stacks of it are there is, I've played pretty much all of them.
Just, yeah, well, for the most part, like, most of the stacks, I guess, in this generation would be like Xbox One or Win 10. Or, mind you, last generation and Xbox 360 getting a definitive edition on Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So, usually, I would dare say, like 90% of stacks would be just between two different SKUs, yeah?
Usually, I mean, you don't get so much the Japanese or the German regional changes anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it basically is. Usually nowadays it's just Win 10 and Xbox One.
But there'll be some games, like I played Watch Dogs when it was first released, which would have been, I dare say, 5-6 years ago now.
Yep,
something around that
more
point.
Than that, probably actually.
Yeah, probably more than that. I remember just blasting through it in probably like a weekend or two, and saying, like I said before, I would not mind going back to play the 360 version.
2014, May 2014.
6 years.
Yeah, just having that gap between those games too. Saying that, like, I mean, realistically, as time goes on, I do see them not having stacks. But saying that, we'll have stuff where we can basically just stream to any device. Like, I mean, we're probably so close to the days where I can have a controller in my locker at work and just play on my phone.
Yeah, in that case, like, stacks don't really make a lot of sense. If having to rebuy it becomes a bit of a logistical issue as well as a financial one potentially.
Yeah, and I feel like as time's gone on, Microsoft's been more understanding of that, especially with the what do you want to call it? What's the word? Smart delivery.
Yeah.
The smart delivery between Series X and Xbox One. I would not be surprised going forward if we mostly see most developers have just the one SKU for everything, like we talked about a few weeks back.
Yeah, I mean, if prices of games are going up, that's a decent way of trying to justify that, right? Is to say, hey, you can play it on anything you want. You just got to pay us an extra $10.
Saying that, yeah, I don't mind paying an extra $10 to get basically the same game if it's a stack. I mean, if I'm paying an extra $10 for any reason other than that, probably doesn't really matter to us.
Sure.
Being achievement hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I just realised there's a second question here. Hawkeye Barry's written in. Sorry, Hawkeye. With things heating up for both Microsoft and PlayStation's new consoles, all eyes are on them. Did Stadia miss their opening to grab a foothold in the industry? Will Stadia even be around this time next year?
Mate, I want to go first with this.
Yep.
I was watching Devolver Digital the other day, and something got announced for Stadia first.
Was
Stadia
it the
any other-
cancellation of Stadia?
I'm trying to think what it was, actually. I think it was right before Carrion. Mind you, Carrion comes to Xbox Game Pass on the 23rd, and Phil Spencer announced it on the Devolver Digital showcase.
I did see a clip of that. That's cool. He did that.
If you ever wanted to watch Phil Spencer talking to some... I don't know whether to define as an alien or a sciencey. I don't know what to call Carrion. Like, it's such a interesting game, and I'm definitely going to play it on launch, but, like, what is that thing?
All right, but before we get off topic, so just going back to the question. Did Stadia miss its opening to grab a foothold in the industry? Yes.
Yes.
But also
Yes.
no. Because I would say it doesn't actually matter when Stadia launched. They never had a chance in hell to begin with.
Do you think this would have been a different case, though, if it had launched in 10 years in the future?
In its current form?
And it... Say like... I feel like the main thing, especially in being, like, in Australia or New Zealand, having the internet that we do, like, this is a great thing if you got Google Fiber and you can, like, utilize it, yeah? Not having to have a console and...
Trying to set up the new fiber for my new house, it would be great to have something like this. But like again, like that's the minority. And yeah, you're right. Again, bit of a history lesson. Do you guys remember OnLive?
No.
Never heard of it.
So OnLive was a gaming streaming platform about 10 years ago.
What?
Yep, you should look this up on OnLive. Actually, I'll just vamp for a bit and OnLive. No, I'm looking for OnLive, not online. Thanks, Google.
Okay, there's a Wikipedia
Alright,
article.
so...
Yeah.
I'm going back to university, is what I get from all these pages. Is Swinburne, Deakin, Melbourne?
Yes. So OnLive. So OnLive was founded in 2003, basically, and they essentially they were the beginning of cloud smart. This is when smart TVs were starting to become a thing. And they were going to be the plug-in box that streamed all of the stuff across the internet to your console. This was back in 2008. Just to give you an idea of how long ago this was. Like 12 years ago that they started doing this. And like think about where internet was then and where it is now. Like it's crazy. Like again, the big problems they had was input lag. They didn't
Really?
Yeah, really. And it was different from game to game. They had, and also video quality was bad. A lot of inconsistencies versus what you would play on a home console. They didn't have the library, and also the cost of doing it was just prohibitively high. Like they hadn't managed to get the cost down to where you would want to do this instead of owning a console or a PC. Had some interesting ideas around like demo stuff and spectator modes, but this essentially paved the way for Stadia. I think they were actually acquired by Sony.
Yep.
So essentially, Sony basically bought them and their patents and stuff and used it for PlayStation Now, which is also a massive failure and everyone hates it for the most part.
Unless you're a Sony pony.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, look, it's not nearly as popular as what they try to make it out to be. But it was bad back then, and things have progressed in terms of latency and in terms of network structure. But I don't think, from a technical perspective, I don't think the technical problem is the problem now. Like, in 10 years, sure, it will be better, as it always will be. But I think that it's not, like OnLive's problem was the technical stuff. Stadia's problem was the messaging and the value. So, OnLive had a streaming service where you bought your games, you got demos, you could do like a la carte thing where you buy the games. Stadia having that, and essentially people getting Stadia and saying, oh, I still have to buy these games even though I won't own them and I can only stream them for as long as they're on the service. What happens if they get taken down? Do I just lose that money? Do I get a refund? What happens? The fact that they didn't have a Game Pass style streaming service and have it filled with 100 games when it came out, like, there was no value there. Like, there was literally no reason to own a Stadia. And I don't think better technology or better messaging or I don't think there's anything they could have done outside of having exclusives and new games, like either new stuff or exclusives, or at least being toe to toe with the current generation moving into the new generation for them to even stand a chance. So I don't think that they definitely failed to grab a foothold, but I would argue that they would never had any chance to begin with.
I think that the infrastructure isn't there yet. I know people do say Australia's internet is really bad, and it isn't great in terms of world rankings and all that kind of stuff. I think we're about 70th or 80th last time I checked in the world, which as a first world country is terrible. And we're still building the infrastructure. Now we're building fibre to the node, which I think New Zealand had about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's gotten to the point, though, where 5G will surpass NBN, where... Like, how long ago was the NBN installed? What, 2016?
It's still going.
It was started...
started to be installed, 2016?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think that they have talked about NBN being capable of much faster speeds, but it all depends on how much bandwidth internet service providers purchase. So in theory, if they bought like 3 gigabytes per second and leased that out to one person, that one person could have a 3 gig per second internet speed. Yep. Give or take, depending on what your computer and everything's doing. But they have said that there are much faster capable speeds. There are some, like 100 download is the usual maximum in Australia, but there are some services you can pay for where you get 200 down.
Yeah, so put that in perspective for New Zealand, the standard fibre here is 100 down, but so like the one I'm looking at for our new place is 990 down.
Oh my lord!
Like, I'm definitely paying a little bit more for it for sure. But the thing is, like, with the way fiber optic cable works, essentially, is that you don't really need to change the cable. All you're doing is changing what's on each end. So, like, the speeds can always go up as long as you improve the technology. You don't have to pull the cable out and replace it like you did with copper to fiber. So, like, there's always potential there, and it will get better. It's just getting that initial fiber in there in the first place, which is the problem Australia's had for the last 20 years about trying to get this stuff sorted.
It's one of those things that I've been fortunate because I've had fibre to the premises in 2 or 3 houses in a row. I guess that's part of being in a new estate. They don't build... Well, at the time they built ours, they didn't build them to the premises. They didn't build it to the node. They built them to the premises. But more important for me, and the limited understanding that I have about the cloud services, is the ping that you get. Your ping connection more so than your download speed. Like, I go into Rocket League and I am almost always the lowest ping in the game. I'm about 18 to 22 usually, and that's great. I'm pretty sure the server's in Sydney because most servers are in Sydney.
Yeah.
I'm still getting a sick ping like that. So if I can download 1,000, I mean, sure, that'd be great. But if I can download 1,000 and have 100 ping, like Kirby sometimes does in Northern Territory, like...
Yeah, it's pointless, basically.
It's irrelevant.
In terms of video gaming, at least, yeah.
And with the cloud services, you know, you have your controller to console input lag, then you have your ping lag, everything just compounds to make it less playable. I don't know if I would say unplayable, but less playable. I think you could probably get used to the way it operates. But in terms of the original question, what did Barry say? Did it miss its calling? Did it miss its opening to grab a foothold in the industry? Yeah. They did a lot of things wrong. They're kind of like the opposite to Microsoft, who, although they haven't been super clear on some of the things that they're talking about, they've been pretty clear and pretty concise about what's coming next generation. Mm-hmm. Stadia wasn't, and there was a lot of questions for a long time, you know, about what the pricing models were, how does it work. Will Stadia be around this time next year? Well, I mean, they're just buying up plots in the Google graveyard at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, although realistically, I mean, Google want to have a good excuse to have server farms all over the world anyway. And if Stadia costs them next to nothing to run, and they make a little bit of money off of it, they'll probably keep it around for a little bit. I mean, will it be around this time next year? Probably. Will it be here the year after that? I don't know. I mean, I think COVID kind of threw a wrench in a lot of plans around how things are going to progress in terms of, you know, any sort of infrastructure or technology or big spending. So we shall see. But yeah,
I do think that cloud gaming is a way that they're, at least part of the industry is going to go.
For sure.
Because there are, you know, some attractive points to having a cloud gaming service. But I don't want it to go that way. I would like to keep a console. I would like to install my games. I would like to minimize the variables as much as I can. If my game is installed on my console, that's one less thing that I have to rely on. If it's a bad install, I get rid of it, put it back on. If I get a questionable connection, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft has sort of realized that you can't, like, Sony basically went all console, and Stadia's gone all cloud, and Microsoft have sort of split the difference when they've realized that, yes, xCloud is going to be a solution for some stuff, but they've been very clear to say it's not going to replace the console because they still reckon the best gaming experience that you can have is on their top of the line next gen console.
It's just all about giving people options. Though.
Exactly.
That not putting all of your eggs in one basket at the same time.
Yep. I agree. Alright, well, I think we've well and truly covered all of those. So let's hit the milestones up. Nice and quick. There isn't that many, so I'll just go through them. Mark B has reached 11,000 achievements won. Tropan has reached 18,000 achievements won. Matoy 13, 100,000 Gamerscore. Nice work. Triple figures, mate. That's the big dog. Chin has reached 950,000 Gamerscore. And Thrash Forever made hot on your heels 1.35 million Gamerscore.
I know.
Is he in our region? Is he in your region?
No, he's not. But he will. But he will catch me.
He or she, maybe. It's probably he. I don't know. But if he has a little move over to New Zealand, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I might have to find somewhere else to live. It just reminds me of when I used to live in the States. One of my friends, when I used to do Games Windows Live, one of my friends was the top of the Washington leaderboard. And then I happened to move there and I changed my location. And she sends me a message being like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I live here." She's like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Yeah, look, here I am. I'm in Washington. Look, here's the Space Needle." And she's like, "What are you doing? You're ruining my leaderboard."
Go back to where you came from.
Pretty much, yeah. I was like, I told her that was the kind of response I expected when I lived in Austin, in Texas, but not so much in Washington.
Fair enough. Well, Shadowless Edge has reached 700,000 true achievement score. Retro Chief 1969 has played 250 games. Mark B has played 500. Wakapeel has played 1,000 games. Shadowless Edge has completed 200 games, which in the party last night he was constantly telling me he doesn't complete games.
Yeah, I know it's only 200, mate. We know.
800 played, 200 completed.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
bad.
boy.
That's that's big yikes.
I'm sorry that I'll dive into every other game just to give them a try.
You're a fool. No,
Yes,
actually, no.
that's
You
crazy talk.
definitely do the right thing. I'm a
Where's your
complete nutcase.
95%? Come on, mate. McLovin Legend has released... this is my favourite milestone. McLovin Legend 1 has reached new milestone. Completion percentage of 69%.
Hey!
Yeah. Calevra?
Clever, yeah.
Calevra? That's a very clever username.
They've reached. I think it means bad dog. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. They've reached 70% completion. What the Fug has a streak going, 382 days, and that's a new personal best. Very good.
Oh wow.
Yes. And Prue is on a 20,000 achievement win streak.
Oh my god.
As you do. It's more achievements than I have, and he's got it all in one
Yeah, I was gonna
streak.
say that's a lot. It's like it's quite a few.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Show's done.
No.
No.
Got surprise news hot off the press.
All right,
Okay.
what do you got?
Neon Abyss, which is a roguelike action platformer, has surprisingly launched day one into both Xbox Game Pass for Windows 10 and Xbox One.
Oh, great! I've actually heard good things about that.
I haven't heard anything about that, but there you go.
Good, looks good. But yeah.
Any other
Just thought I'd
surprise?
shove that in. Alex is going to play Fallout 76.
I would be surprised. I will give you that. I don't think it's true, but it would be a surprise.
I mean, like, I said it on a podcast, so he's going to have to do it now, otherwise...
I mean, I should start saying all kinds of stuff on this podcast.
Yeah, alright. I am bok. Alright, I am bok. That's fine. Alright, if you would like to help us out, you can. You can subscribe on iTunes and other platforms. You can leave us a review, tell your friends in the boosting sessions like I did for Mad Rocketansky and the guys there. Retweet us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube and Patreon. You can send us an email, hello@realgamerscore.com. You can find us on Twitter @realgamerscore. The Discord can be found at discord.io/realgamerscore. And our Patreon page is patreon.com/realgamerscore. You can write in questions to the show, like Hawkeye, Barry, and Reset42 did this episode. And if you would like to be on the show, just let me know and we'll have a chat about it. Cameron, where can people find you if they want to talk to you? Okay, thank you for that. Matt, where can people find you?
Hey!
It doesn't matter what you say here, Cameron. Kirby will just edit this out.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter under the name Professor Pluto.
All complaints go there.
All complaints can be handled by me. I will promptly ignore them because I am Professor Pluto. If you want to be on the podcast, send your audio into Professor Pluto. He won't get back to you. What else? No. If you want to reach me on Twitter by Real Gamerscore. Real Gamerscore podcast. God. If you want to reach me on Facebook, Xbox Achievement Community. If you want to reach me on Mixer, it doesn't exist anymore, or in a few weeks. By the time you're listening to this. If you want to contact me on TA, Shadowless Space Edge. You can see it by my lovely Scott Pilgrim avatar. And if you want to just join the Discord and post cats, that's perfectly okay with all of us but one of us.
Yes.
I know another place that people can find you that you didn't say.
Where?
In Fallout 76 as an NPC
I
selling bags of chips and crisps. Oh no, he's got.
Oh no, he came prepared.
All right, Matt. Where can people find you? It's an odd episode.
It's an odd episode, so don't find me anywhere. I mean, look, if you're gonna find me, you better have a bloody good reason, okay? Like I'm extra salty these days. Like, you know what? You're like I'm unemployed. I'm ready for a fight. Like, if you want to get down for it, I'm ready for a punch up. Unless you want to like help me with Neverwinter or something. Like, if you want to boost some games, definitely hit me up and let me know. But if you just want to come say hi, like I'll give you the bash. So
Remind me to join every open party this week and just annoy them.
How do you give someone the bash?
bash.
Like, give him the Rona, give him the clap. No, give him the bash.
Give him the bash, mate. Yeah, I'll reach through the internet and I'll just bitch slap him.
You know what? I can give you the bash. Just give me 2 minutes. You just keep talking.
No, you know what? We're done. Ending the podcast now. Cameron's gone. Quick. Just wrap it up.
You can find me on Xbox on True Achievements, and okay, all right, I've got that too. You can find me, like I said, Xbox, True Achievements, Professor Pluto, and you can find me on Twitter, Professor Pluto. You really just set me up, Cameron, there. And you can find me on Twitch, Professor Pluto 1. All right.
All right,
He
we're
was
done.
holding up Big Bash Boom, by the way.
We're done,
I was going to say, we're sending this to Matt. He will have it complete within the week.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
probably.
mate. There you go. All right, let's get out of here. Matt needs to go to bed.
Yeah,
I know he doesn't because he doesn't have a job. It's fine. Games all night.
I gotta go to an interview tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, then we better finish the episode.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Catch you guys later. Bye.